Hey everyone, Ashley Mailloux here, taking a look at the Tuesday DRF race of the day. It's Canada Day, July 1st, so very fitting that we go out to Assiniboia Downs. They have a 7-race program on tap, and we'll focus in on the stakes race on the program. It's race number 3. It's the Hazel Wright Sire Stakes for the Manitoba breds, and it's a 6-furlong event on the main track for 3-year-old fillies. Now, as we take a look at the names in here, it is a field of 5, and it's interesting. You have 3 maidens in the race. You also have 2 horses that have graduated, that being the 3 Twolefttoload, as well as the number 5 Nikkitysplit, was the morning line favorite at 2-5, and has actually faced winners since the maiden score on debut and was the runner-up, was able to take a step forward in terms of figures. And as we move to the Timeform US pace projection, this is interesting. You don't necessarily see this all the time. You see no speed projected. You see the 5 Nikkitysplit being involved early. And you also note that this filly has the LP flag, the late pace flag, attached to her. So not a scenario that we see often. I think with the outside draw and seeing so far what we've saw on debut and even last time out, the race went quicker. I think against this group, if she wants the lead, she can be involved. But I will say the 2 Shazette, I think, is going to press the envelope early, kind of looking at her 2 races so far in 2025. But let's dive right into it. We'll kick it off with the number 1, Born in a Blizzard. She's 20-1 on the morning line. Has 1 race under her belt. On debut, she really never got running. I think if you're looking for excuses, she did sort of lose ground with the way that she settled and in the trip that she got, and maybe she needed a race under her belt. I will say the barn's off to a good start. They are 0 for 5, but they're 4 for 5 in the money. And, you know, first-time starters, it can be tough, right? Depending on the draw and what goes on, it can be a really tough experience. So would expect her to take a step forward, but she would need a big step forward as we kind of talk about a couple others in this field. The 2 Shazette, she ran pretty well 2 starts back, and it was her first start off the bench. I thought it was a good starting point. She was 58-1 in there. She only missed by 3/4 of a length, and then after that, they actually put her in an allowance race. So couldn't find, I guess, maybe a maiden special weight event that they were looking for, and they put her in that spot, and she never got going. And Nikkitysplit participated in that race and was the runner-up. And I guess the thing I struggle with a little bit is what's the best scenario for her. I do think it is her being forward, and you can go down the past performances. They've put her in stakes races before. They tried her against the boys. She just really hasn't been able to find her fit. Her best race, though, maidens, fillies, 3 years old, I should say fillies and mares, 3 years and upward, and the Manitoba bred. So maybe here, it's not far-fetched to think maybe she could get a minor piece, maybe round out the top 3, but will need to take a step forward, especially off the last, where she does have to face one of those rivals once again. The 3 Twolefttoload, another daughter of speculating in this field, the same top side of the pedigree as the number 1 Born in a Blizzard. Twolefttoload hasn't done a whole lot wrong, has always fired, has always tried to roll from off of it, and yeah, it took her a little bit to graduate. Everyone can see that. She was 0 for 7 going into her last race, but she was able to get the job done last time out, and like the trip that she got, I also like that the fractions weren't hot, and she was able to draw clear in there. Now, she was favored, but she won like she should. She was able to draw clear by 3.5, and in terms of her figure, it was her best to date so far, so I think those are all positive signs, and to me, she's the second choice in this field. So keep on going through these other runners in the group. The 4 Amplify, a daughter of Kentucky Bear, who's going to get blinkers on in just her second career start. And I think that's huge, knowing that on debut, she was dead last early on. And she did make a late impression, only missed by 1.5 lengths, 18-1 in that spot. Really liked that effort. I think sometimes we see races where the fractions aren't hot. They were sort of walking 24-4, 49 and almost 3 to the half, and then 102 and 2 there for 5 furlongs. And I just think, you know, it's kind of slow. And I know Shazette was able to, you know, finish 3rd in there, but I think the main thing is when you look at the running style, Shazette was a lot more forward. This is a filly that was towards the back of the pack. So I could see someone kind of liking Amplify in here. She will need to step forward, but maybe the equipment change, maybe blinkers on, puts her in the race a little bit earlier, and maybe we see her take a step forward in her second career start. Finally, the number 5, Nikkitysplit. We'll take a look at that most recent performance where this one was the runner-up. Second career start, facing winners for the first time, and we pick things up early in this race out of the gate. Sort of breaks a little bit slow, and I'm only going to show the first little bit here. Watch the whole replay if you have time. I thought she looked green. It looked like she was climbing the track, and you can see the rider angles out a little bit. She starts to travel better. And then when you move towards the stretch run, she starts picking it up. She starts really kind of advancing. She's only going to miss by 3/4 of a length. I thought that was a really good performance from her. She was able to, travel well in there. And you look at the winner, Better Luck Next Time, basically took them gate to wire and just has a resume that's a little deeper, right? Now 3 for 7 in his career. And that's the key thing. His career, last time out, you can see she did tackle male rivals. So simply the horse to beat. We looked at the time form US pace projection, and there's a lot to like about the outside filly in here, the 5 Nikkitysplit. So before we move to top picks in here, don't forget it is the race of the day for this Tuesday, July 1st, which means free past performances on the DRF website. And pretty clear who I'm going to go with on top in here, the 5 Nikkitysplit. No, we're not going to make a ton of money on her, but very curious to see what she's going to be able to do here going back against her female rivals. I thought last time out when we look at that replay, as I mentioned, try to watch the whole thing. She's green. She's still figuring it out, and she ran so well in there that she is the horse to beat. So she's the top pick. I think the 2Left-to-Load is the horse that had a lot of races under her belt, right? But she's been able to improve. She was able to graduate. I like her coming into this race. I think her figures are clearly second best in this group, and just curious to see what sort of trip that she's going to get. We don't necessarily see a ton of speed early in here, and she's going to close from off of it. And that's another mark that I couldn't use her on top when comparing her to the number 5 Nikkitysplit, because I am afraid about the pace dimension and kind of scenario here in this compact field. Finally, the 4 Amplify, going to use this filly in the 3rd spot. Second time out, she ran well on debut. She was far back, so now seeing the equipment change, I think she's eligible to take a huge step forward. But going to go with the morning line favorite, the 5 Nikkitysplit in race number 3 this Tuesday out at Assiniboia. It's the Hazel Wright Sire Stakes. Good luck.